Everyone, this is my slide deck of the macromolecules. First, we'll begin with the protein. I chose this image because it shows the proteins are formed by amino acids and polypeptides. These proteins are composed of several elements that form their structure and function. These would include carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They are foundational to all macronutrients and are present in the amino acid backbone. Nitrogen is a critical component of the amino group in amino acids, which forms the protein. Some amino acids like methionine, cysteine, these ones would include sulfur atoms. Phosphorus is less common, but certain proteins may contain phosphorus atoms. The elements are arranged within the amino acids which form the proteins. The amino acids link together by peptide bonds to form polypeptide chains, creating the proteins. So carbon forms the backbone and the carboxyl groups. Hydrogen makes the hydrogen bonds and side chain interactions. Oxygen is a part of the carbonyl groups and hydrogen bonds. Nitrogen is needed for peptide bonds and amino groups. Sulfur stabilizes structures by disulfide bonds. Onto our lipids. I chose this image because lipids can be various forms. So lipids are primarily composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They are distinguished by their molecular structure, which combines polar to nonpolar functional groups. Basically, they form cell membranes, creating a barrier between the inside and outside of the cells. They have hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic heads. Onto our carbohydrates. These are some of the structural shapes, which is why I chose this image. They consist mainly of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Their structures are made of carbon chains, which is where the hydrogen and oxygen attach to a carbon, which forms a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. Their carbonyl groups determine their subtype, which would be aldehyde or ketone, and they have their hydroxyl groups. Lastly, we have nucleic acids. These are normally found in DNA and RNA. I chose this photo to represent those. They are composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Their backbones are made of 5 carbon sugars and phosphate groups. They're linked by phosphodester bonds. The phosphate groups connect 3 carbon of one sugar to the 5 carbon of the next. They have a double helix structure. Antiparallel strands coil around a central axis. Then the hydrogen bonds between the complementary bases hold the strands together. Hydrophobic bonds between stacked bases stabilize the structure. RNA is single-stranded, while DNA is double-stranded structure. Finishing up with our macromolecules, we're moving on to the small molecules, and these are typically your synthesized drugs, for example, the aspirin, penicillin, any of these ones listed on the left-hand picture. They're enzyme inhibitors. They block certain enzymes to interfere with the disease processes. They're receptor agonists or antagonists. They're small molecules that interact with cell surface proteins to modulate biological responses. They're protein interaction modulators. Drugs like the venetoclax, they disrupt the protein interactions critical to disease progression. And then they're also PROTACs. They're molecules designed to degrade disease-causing proteins for cancer treatment. And then the small molecules information, this was pulled from the Perplexity AI chat box, and it was fact-checked by me. Thank you. Lastly, here are my references that was pulled to get this information.